Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. Today we're going to be talking about the Jupiter's transit into Mrigashira Nakshatra. I have done a detailed video on Jupiter's transit in the sign of Taurus, which is for the entire 1 year period. If you've not had a chance, I will urge you guys to please click on the link above or search my YouTube page and go into the videos. It was released in the month of April, where we did an analysis for Jupiter's transit for the entire 1 year period. And usually I do not make transit videos, especially when they are nakshatra transits, but Jupiter's transit is critical. It is getting into Mrigashira, which is ruled by Mars. The lord of this is Mars, but from a god perspective, it is Moon is the god, or Som is, as they say, is the god for this. It's a key nakshatra transit because it's a transit into the friendly sign from a Jupiter's perspective. Jupiter and Mars, they enjoy a friendly relationship between each other. Now, uh, Mrigashira, as you would have seen in the thumbnail as well, it's the representation of a deer. And this nakshatra, it holds the qualities of spontaneity, dexterity, awareness, situational awareness. And we are talking a lot about situational awareness in this AI world with a new report that has been released by Leopold. But I'm so sorry, I just get digressed at times. But AI is very, very, interesting to me at this point in time. But coming back to the topic, see this nakshatra, it is denoted by deer because you see the qualities of a deer, that situational awareness, that fear that it can sense of any kind of danger. It also represents beauty because it is setting in the sign of Taurus, which is Venus's sign, but it denotes beauty in a more aesthetic sense, a more hermit's sense, because typically, hermits and sages would live in the wild, in the jungles, in the forests, and they would have these deers roaming around in natural beauty. So it's a representation of some sort of natural beauty as well. It's a representation of how fast or how quickly you are able to act upon the situation that you are in. So it represents speed, velocity, more importantly, because a deer knows which direction to choose to save its life if attacked, right? So it's all about velocity. It represents understanding as to what could go wrong and how to take measures against it. It could also denote, a deer could typically come in danger when it wanders away into a riskier path, in the riskier territory. So, and guys, I intentionally keep away from mythological stories, but I try to bring in some logical analogy as to how we have to think, so that we understand that why the sages in the old times associated certain characters, certain qualities against nakshatras, against zodiacs, and it is easy for us to understand and assimilate that what would it mean for us. And we have to continue with that thought process and not just stick with the books. So what I'm trying to inculcate or share with you guys is that this nakshatra is going to be all about Martian qualities, but specific attributes of Mars, specific attributes of Martian qualities. So it's about that alertness that comes into the transit of Jupiter as well. It could have both positive and negative effects, but most importantly, and I've said this in my previous video as well, where I've touched upon the fact that, you know, people who are going through a certain Mahadasha, say a Venus Mahadasha or Antardasha, Jupiter Mahadasha or Antardasha, Mars Mahadasha or Antardasha, and in this case, Moon as well, because Moon rules the Mrigashira Nakshatra. So it is important. Mars is the ruler, but Moon is the god, right? So Moon is the lord. So you have to understand that aspect as well. And people who are undergoing this in their natal chart, Vimshotari Dashas, they are the one who will see biggest impact in their life with this transit when compared to anybody else. I typically keep on calling out, the impact of transit is 10 to 20, 30% in your life, and natal chart is what rules your life predominantly. So you have to take it that from a pinch of the salt and see how it pans out for you. Okay. So for Aries, as you know that Jupiter is sitting in your second house. Now what's happening here? Of course, a second house is your sign of Taurus, but not just the impact that I discussed in the previous video with Jupiter's presence here and its aspects are going to come into play. But now you have to think that how are the houses ruled, or the effects of Mars going to also be impacting you in the next 100 days. So you have to understand that there will be a lot of uh, hasteness, rush, uh, hurry that you will find in terms of your food habits. There is a typical risk in the next 100 days that you could pick up bad food habits, or you could be rushing through for any circumstances in terms of your food. You could be disturbed with respect to your communication with your interaction within your family members itself, and that is where you have to be absolutely critical, because the Martian energy is going to bring a lot of aggression, and you have to channelize that into assertion in your life so that you do not spoil things during this period. Okay. Remember, Mars is also your Lagna Lord and it rules your eighth house. So you will have some or the other, instances where either you will be filled with a lot of action during the next 100 days. You could see a lot of action in terms of physical activity. You might get more driven during this period to achieve your goals. You might have a lot more work to do during this 100 day cycle as well. There will be certain challenges, turbulences that you will, as I called out, expect from your food, family perspective. I would want you to be careful as to how you take up new responsibilities at your work, because Jupiter is going to be aspecting your 10th as well as 6th. So it is important for you to be extremely careful and do not make mistakes in a rush during this course. You will be activating your eighth house as well along with your Lagna, which means you have to be very, very critical in terms of any kind of hidden unknown problems arising, any kind of challenges that you were not anticipating. They could come during this period, and you will have to be very, very critical as to how you overcome them. I'm not trying to scare you guys here. All I'm saying is you have to learn to rule your chart, you have to learn to rule your planets, and be aware, like that deer, like that mriga, to figure out that what kind of obstacles can come your way and how you are going to overcome them. But preemptively, from a work front perspective, from your day-to-day activities perspective, it could mean as simple as doing exercises to borrowing money from people. You might want to be cautious during this period in terms of going and taking out loans. See if you've planned all quadrants, you've taken care of all corners, and you're covered before you are taking any kind of such measures. Focus on your food habits, because food related distress is a possibility. Jupiter is a beautiful planet, it'll try to keep you healthy. However, you might bring that hurried nature in your behavior, which might not be good for your appetite, for your stomach, so to speak. Okay, these are the key caution areas that I wanted to call out. I strongly believe that remedies are the actions that we take on a day-to-day basis. So people who've taken paid consultations with me, some of you actually complain that why don't you tell any remedies where you have to go and spend any money, do any donations. I typically refrain from doing that. I strongly believe that if you are able to focus in terms of your food habits, if you are able to focus at your workplace, whilst making decisions, if you're cautious, you are covering all corners for yourself, you will sail through easily during this period. And more importantly, you will grow during this period as well. Remember, Jupiter's ninth aspect is in your 10th house. It is going to be a very beneficial aspect, so you are going to see further growth at your workplace, as long as you're careful in terms of signing any documents, in terms of submitting any deals that you're working on, in terms of the code that you're writing, any design work you do, whatever field you are, even if you're a homemaker. Very important, you have to note that when you are making your food, cooking your food, you are not making mistakes and spoiling that food because you were in a rush, right? So just keep these things in mind. It is important for you to please go and refer back to the main Jupiter annual video that I released. It will give you a lot of insight. But from this transit, of the nakshatra perspective, I just wanted to share these few points. Please like this video and subscribe as well. Thank you, guys. Now, from a Taurus perspective, as you see that Jupiter is coming into your Lagna, and Mars is going to be impacting your 12th house as well as your seventh house. So important thing to note is that somewhere or the other, as I was talking in my main video as well, if not had a chance, go back and check that annual video which was released in April. You'll find it on my channel. I had given a link at the start of the video as well. But in this period, I won't want you to focus on yourself. See, you will be driven, you will be filled with a lot of energy, and you will have a lot of thoughts coming in your mind during these 100 days. Why? Because all those martial elements in association with Jupiter are going to come into play. Now, the riskier bit here would be that you might end up making decisions which require you to spend, which end up bringing expenses to your life. Or on a positive light of things, because Jupiter is here and with this Martian energy in association, from a 12th house connect perspective, you might bring in elements of spirituality. You might want to grow and spend your energy in that direction. So you will have to figure out that where you want to channelize your energy. But if decision making is coming into you moving fast but spending your money to bring that acceleration in your project, in your life overall, I would want you to take a step back and think that whether that is the right choice at this point in time for you or not. It is hypercritical for you. Any kind of stock related investments have to be double thought for you guys, Taurus, because Jupiter is aspecting your fifth house, but it is in the nakshatra which will have a play of the 12th as well. So you have to be very sharp and clever. Go for value based investment and not trading. I will recommend you to do that. It is, or rather I should take a step back and say, I will want you to explore and think from that perspective rather than being running with a trader's mindset. Okay, that's very, very important. You might have to focus a lot of your effort, time and energy in terms of upgrading your education or spending time with your kids to help with their education. That is very, very critical for you to do. In these 100 days, you will see that you will gain a lot of momentum and success also in that area. Group study sessions or enabling some kind of social activities for your kids or social activities for yourself would be a right choice for you. It will bring a lot of positive impact in terms of your own personal growth. Devote some time to your spiritual upliftment. Why? Because Jupiter is the natural karka of ninth. It is going to bring the element of 12th. So meditation of some sort is going to be very, very important for you. Remember, you have to find ways to spend quality time with your spouse as well. Be polite to them, be polite and nice, kind, loving to your business partners as well, because somewhere or the other you will have some aggressive energies channelized towards them. Not an ideal situation that I would recommend many of you to get into, because it could cause some sort of turbulence and loss. I keep on saying Jupiter tends to bring some sort of loss in the house it sits, so it might de-alienate you from your business partner or from your spouse, or they might get hurt with your words. So you have to be extremely careful when planning that. Taking certain trips, long distance trips might be a good idea during this period. So if you're planning vacation, Taurus, it's a good time to execute that. And remember, if you've not had a chance to watch the year-long video of Jupiter reading which I released in April, please guys go and click that, watch it, because it gives a very comprehensive understanding as to what is going to be panning out. In this video, I've summed it up only for the 100 days, top areas that I believe could be of concern. I might not have captured everything, but I just wanted to bring this to your perspective so that you think in this direction. All right. And if you've liked this video, please smash on that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Now, Gemini, in your case, what's happening is that just this Jupiter is going to be sitting in the 12th house. Sitting in the 12th house, it is going to have some or the other impact of your 11th as well as your 6th. Okay. Now, Jupiter sitting in the 12th and we've discussed this at length in the detailed video that we did in April. If you've not had a chance, guys, please go ahead and watch that, because it will give you an annual analysis. But in the nakshatra transit, as I was talking in the intro section of the video as to how Mrigashira Nakshatra makes you behave, some or the other way you will see expenses rising for you. It could also mean that you might have to do a lot of hard toiling work, which is not something that you were prepared for or not something that you would enjoy. But these 100 days might require you to do that. Ideally, you should go and spend, time, energy, effort, and spiritual or charitable deeds, that is going to be very, very fruitful for you. But at the same time, I see a lot of action happening for you from your home perspective, from your assets perspective. You might be, you know, putting in a regenerated amount of effort and energy in terms of either, rebuilding, remodeling your house, some sort of construction happening there, some sort of upgrade, to your assets in terms of your car, or any other vehicle that you own. It might be not just a, vehicle upgrade, but you might just add accessories to your vehicle. Maybe you might want to put a new music system to your house or in your car or something of that sort. You might want to think on those layers as well. So I think somewhere you will have that tendency in these 100 days. A lot of festivals are also going to be coming during this period, so I anticipate some sort of changes, additions that you will do in your home front in terms of improving the quality of the look and the feel. Remember, as I was talking earlier in the video, Brikshara is about beauty, so you will be looking forward to enhance the beauty of your home life. But at the same time, the energies of your 11th and 6th will be activated. So your friend social circle, you should be looking forward to expand, meet your old friends, expand your network. That is going to be very, very helpful for you. This one activity will also help you bring more gains, because Gemini ascendants, what's going to happen is that you will find that Jupiter is going to be slowly moving towards your ascendant sign itself, and Mrigashira has presence both in Taurus as well as in Gemini. So you will see that at some point in time you are going to be driven by all of this. You are going to be driven by this beauty. You are going to be driven by this knowledge that you have to gain, and these 100 days will find some sort of the trigger for you to actually start some sort of an action. Maybe you might consider or look forward to picking up new positive habits during this period. It's the regularity, the regular activities that we see from the 6th house, which are going to come into play. And if you pick positive habits, that is going to be transformative. Guys, we've touched up some bit of this in the detailed Jupiter video that I released in April. If you've not had a chance, go and check that. But I want to again re-emphasize on this aspect, that if you pick new daily habits in these 100 days, it is going to be transformative for you. It is going to be absolutely critical. Jupiter does give a debilitated aspect to um, uh, your 8th house, and that is where I would want you to be careful that any kind of riskier situations that you are, and it's very hard to anticipate, but from a health perspective, from from your leaders or gurus health perspective, could also be of concern, and you might just want to keep that in mind. But overall, I think this is an energizing period. It is a period for you to be transformative. It is a period for you to make gains, start new things. Gemini, you have to start new things in this period. These 100 days can bring a lot of trigger in terms of you achieving your goals, and you might have to expend, you might have to burn your energy, you might have to make certain investments to achieve those goals, but they are going to pan out as long as you are making continuous daily regular habits, you are meeting and expanding your network circle, you are putting a plan in place in these 100 days. It is going to deliver success. It's a very good period for you, Gemini. Of course, you might want to look into the intro section and see that which dashas you're running, if it is making sense from your dasha's perspective. I've touched on that aspect as well. Hope you like this. Please click on that like and subscribe button, guys. I need your support. Thank you. Now, Cancerians, in your case, Jupiter is coming and sitting in the 11th house. It is sitting in the house of gains. And its transit into the Mrigashira Nakshatra is going to bring a lot of energy for you in terms of actionizing everything related to the 11th house. You are going to see a renewed energy. And I was referring a tinge of that to the Geminis a couple of minutes back. But in your case, Cancerians, it is going to be drastically aggressive, fast paced, as I would say. Uh, of, of course, you would have already noticed since May-June period, and especially when Jupiter came out of Sun's combustion, you would have noticed that you have been working on certain ideas, you've been working on certain projects, you've been trying to expand your social circle and see that how you can achieve your goals and objectives. That trigger has already been there with you, Cancer guys. But now you will see a catalytic movement. You will see a lot more aggressive push coming in from your own end to see that how you achieve some of these targets within these 100 days itself. Remember, Mars is the lord of your 10th house as well as your 5th house. So, any kind of prospects from these two areas are also going to be getting impacted. I would want you to be careful at your work front from your karmic perspective, from your profession standpoint, that in this rush, in this aggression to achieve more and fast, you do not commit any mistakes. I don't see a very strong possibility of that happening, because it's at the end of the day, Moon is your Lagna lord as well, and Moon also owns Mrigashira. So it has its own impact, and it'll have a very positive impact for you with Jupiter moving into this nakshatra. But still, I will urge you to not be complacent at any point in time, and see that whatever measures you are taking, especially at the work front, you are taking the right measures. If you have any kind of instincts of uh, cheat is not the right word, but what you might call as smart, see that your smartness is not hurting anybody. That is the only place I would want you to be careful. Usually Cancerians are the most kind-hearted people, so I do not associate that kind of an energy with you, but you never know, with your own individual natal placement there could be certain tricky situations that might bring those kind of habit or mindset in you. Try and refrain from that. Apart, if you're able to control that specific risk, I think it's a very very good period for you Cancerians, because you are going to see success from a work perspective. You are going to see drive within you from a work perspective. Okay, from from creative pursuits, from your educational perspective, I see you finding growth and taking some fast measures during this time. Maybe your college admissions are going to get expedited. Whatever targets you had with respect to your education, be it your college degree, be it your professional courses and stuff, you are going to find success in that area. That's going to be very very helpful. In fact, any kind of stock related investment strategies that you've been putting in place, that's also going to be panning out well. People who are in the creative space, singing, music, art, YouTube, social media, whatever it, digital marketing, you guys are going to see a lot of rigor in your day-to-day life in the next 100 days. It's going to be a positive period from that angle as well. Where I would want you to be careful, I would want you to be careful from your spousal relationship perspective. Please maintain good language, good communication with your spouse, with your business partners. Jupiter is giving a debilitated aspect there, and a rushed mriga attitude is not going to be great. So you have to be careful on that front. And of course, I would want you to be careful in terms of not being lazy. Now, of course, Ketu is sitting in the third house, and that introvert nature on a public forum perspective is the only scare that I have. But Jupiter getting into this nakshatra is going to revive your energies and make you a lot more outgoing and hardworking. So, double down on those qualities, on those aspects, and make good use of these 100 days, Cancerians. This is awesome period for you. Make good use. You are going to thank me. If you've not had a chance, go back and check the detailed April video that I released for Jupiter transit, which is going to give you an annual view for this entire transit, and you can of course get a lot more understanding for this transit from that particular video as well. And if you've liked this video, please click on that like and subscribe button. It's going to be very very motivating to me. Thank you guys. Leos, now if you see Jupiter is coming and setting into your 10th house, and with this transit into the Mrigashira Nakshatra, what you're going to see is that there is going to be impact from your 4th house as well as your 9th house perspective. So I would want you to be careful in terms of the overall health and goodwill of your mom and your dad, of your superiors or fatherly figures, if you may, because I don't see a negative impact. See, Jupiter is getting into a friendly sign, Mars nakshatra, right? And this is owned by Sun as well. Sorry, Moon as well. So overall, I don't see negativity. But if your natal Jupiter, or I was referring to the dashas in my initial part of the video. If you have not listened to it, please listen to it. If that is the case, then there could be some tricky situation from your parents' perspective, and I would want you to be specifically careful on that front. However, I see that you during this period are going to bring in a lot of energy, regenerated energy in your behavior as to how you approach things. You will be very very focused to acquire new assets, do some sort of remodeling, beautification, upgrade, upliftment of whatever you own. It could be a change in your house, it could be a upgrade of your car or your assets, it could be an upgrade in terms of the devices that you use at work, or for leisure. Some sort of assets that you use, you would want to bring some sort of an improvement in that, upgrade in that, make it more functional and rewarding for you. So that is definitely going to be happening. At the same time, I think there will be a lot of rushed uh, food habits that you're going to pick during this period. I would want you to be careful on that front. Please refrain from any kind of food distress, because Jupiter is aspecting with a debilitated aspect into your sixth house as well. So, from your own health perspective, and specifically if it is triggered by your food habits, is something that I would want you to be really careful about, because that is the only key challenge, Leos, that I anticipate coming in from your perspective during this period. By the way, you are going to get a lot of support from your father. You're going to get a lot of support from, if you're a working professional, from your business leaders, from your superiors, from your boss. If they recommend you to go about doing something, please go ahead and follow the instructions. It's going to bring in positive growth for you, but do not rush into your execution. Take a solid stance in terms of understanding that what this is going to mean for you, what would the outcomes be in terms of your actions, because it is sitting in your house of karma, and that is going to impact your growth of wealth. I see promotions happening for many of you during this period, in these 100 days itself. So all the way till November, many of you might see a growth in your stature, growth in terms of promotion, increase in your salary, hike, or savings overall, wealth creation, wealth generation, wealth storage. I don't see expenses and losses for you. So it's a positive period, Leos. Please leverage to the fullest. And more importantly, if you've not had a chance, guys, go back and check out the detailed Jupiter reading that I did in the month of April. You will find it on my channel itself. It was released about 3-4 months back, and it'll give you a complete analysis as to what happened over this 1 year period, or what would rather happen in this 1 year period for you. But I wanted to specifically today discuss some of the key impact in these 100 days, so that you are prepared to make full use of it. You are prepared to deliver the outcome from the areas and aspects that we've discussed. Remember, Jupiter's lord ownership of your 5th and 8th house means that the gains and creativity is going to be critical for you. We've touched upon this in that detailed video, but it's the velocity that you have to use in the right directions from your 2, 4, and 6th house perspective, from your 9th and 4th house perspective, which is going to deliver what you seek in the next 100 days. All right. If you like this video, guys, please smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So Virgos, if you see, Jupiter is coming and sitting into your 9th house. And the impact for you is not just going to be from a 9th house perspective, but also because it is coming into Mars, Mrigashira Nakshatra, it's going to be impacting your 3rd house, attributes, as well as your 8th house attributes, because that's what Mars rules. So first and foremost, I will urge you to see what your annual analysis is, which is what we have done in our detailed video. In April, which is what I released, Jupiter's transit into Taurus, and it gives you a complete view as to what is going to be happening in 1 year period for you, Virgos. But during this Nakshatra transit, which is going to be impacting you for 100 days, you will see a lot of action-oriented behavior coming in from your end, where you would want to act in haste. And this, in your case, is going to be in attribute to your spiritual journey, maybe long distance travels that you might have to take, and a lot of long distance travels that you might have to take during this period. It could either be related to pilgrimage, depending on your age and demographics. It could be related to work. It could be holiday as well, that might come into play for you at a later part of this transit, in the last 20-30 days of this transit, which could be impacting you from travel perspective as well. But it is important for you to remember that all throughout your decision making, if you are in a rush, you need to bring alertness. It is not about hurrying into decision making, but bringing that alertness in your behavior. Why? Because this Jupiter is aspecting your lagna, it is aspecting your hard work from the 3rd house perspective. So if you rush into things, if you rush, say, into an unplanned travel, it is not going to be fructifying. It is not going to be delivering the kind of results that you might plan, be it short term or long term travel. I would want you to avoid unplanned, impromptu getaways or actions of any sort. That is not going to be positive for you. You might not get the bang of the buck if I may, in terms of ROI for the initiatives that you might take. It is it is also a critical period in terms of you being very, very cautious in terms of your investment strategies. Any kind of speculative activities or stock market related activities should be double thought through. You might want to do a check on your decision making. It's a good transit for many. If I hope if you've listened to the first part of the section, we've talked about how the Mahadashas are going to be impacting people. So if you are within those Mahadashas, it is important, or Antardashas as well, it is important for you to note that your planning or strategizing your investments is going to be absolutely critical as to how you go about doing so, or else it could hurt you during this period. I would want you to be careful on that front. Some of you who have kids, you may want to be soft on your kids. Cut them some slack, give them some window, because they might not be able to work as per your expectations. Or if in case you are a student and pursuing your education, please be open to put in an extra bit of a hard work during this period, because that is definitely expected for you. I see challenges in romance. If And it's not that I'm talking all negative, I'm throwing out caution here. That's my job, because Jupiter's aspect are positive, remember guys. That's what we discussed in the annual video. However, because it is in this nakshatra, it will bring the tendencies to act fast. So act fast could mean that you might want to jump on from one relationship to another, which might not be the wisest idea. Yes, we discussed that it's going to be a good period for romance, but you might want to be careful in terms of your decision making in romance as well, in terms of how you're pursuing your education, your courses, you're planning around that. So those are the areas. And very importantly, see, Jupiter is ruling your seventh house as well. So you might potentially see some challenges, as long as you are maintaining your quality of speech, as long as you are maintaining your quality of food. You will see that you will be sailing through a very good phase during this period as well. Okay. uh, from your work front, I would want you to be hyper focused in terms of doing due diligence. People who are in the field of oil and gas, digital businesses, who are in occult sciences, you guys are going to see a sporadic growth during this period. There is going to be a lot of positive outcomes coming in for you. Any kind of and I'm not asking you to be a bootlicker here, but any kind of alignment that you need to do with your bosses during this period is going to be specifically helpful. It may result into promotion for you guys in the next few months to follow, not necessarily during this period itself, but even post that, it will lay down the foundation for your next level growth at your workplace. If you're strategizing and playing around, or aligning yourself with your bosses, with your leadership, or maybe using the recommendation guidance coming in your father, that would also be helpful for your professional, educational, as well as romantic and married life. So recommendations coming in your father are going to be specifically helpful for you during this period. If you've not had a chance, guys, go back and check the detailed video that we did for Jupiter transit in the month of April. It is going to give you a lot better understanding as to how the year is going to pan out for you. And if you've liked this effort, please smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching. So Libra guys, as you guys can see, as you guys are aware that Jupiter is coming and setting into your 8th house. Now I want to call out that when it is moving into the nakshatra of Mrigashira, it is going to have some or the other impact from your 7th house as well as your 2nd house perspective as well, because those two houses are going to definitely get triggered right now. It is very important for you to please maintain caution in terms of your married life. Do not create any kind of situation where you're not articulating proper choice of words, or showing aggressive behavior. And not just your married life, but your business life, or your business relationships as well, your business partners as well. You would want to be very, very careful. See, the good bit is that you are going to be energized, you're going to have hyper focus. You would be driven to do a lot of work during this period. You will see that there is going to be an uptick of drive during this entire phase of 100 days. But it might rub off with your partner, with your spouse, in a negative way to some extent. So it's important that you align yourself to them, or you may want to have them on the same page with respect to your communication. Be extremely transparent and be more vocal and not aggressive during this period, because that is going to have its impact and it's going to be helpful for you on those fronts. Another important thing to note is that your food habits, because Jupiter's aspect is into your second house, as well as Mars rules that house. I would want you to be careful with respect to the quality of food that you take. You might be developing some sort of food disorders. You might be not chewing your food literally. Maybe it's because of the rush that you have at work or whatever it is, but like, you have to think on those lines as well and understand that how it can impact. See, moon also has a role to play with Mrigashira, as I said at the start of the video. And somewhere or the other, food gets associated with Venus and moon, and all of this is coming in together with Jupiter being in Taurus in Mrigashira. It's important that you guys understand that your food habit has to be uh, top notch. You will develop tendencies on picking up fast food a lot during this period, so please try and refrain from doing that, because food related disorders is something I definitely see. I would want you to be very very spot on in terms of your family, or family connections, or your communication at your family front as well, because there could be a risk of you uttering certain words, certain statements, certain thoughts which might not gel well with the people in your surroundings, and they might feel hurt. I know that you will not have any wrong intent, because it's Jupiter which is coming into play, but it's the Martian energy which Jupiter is going to acquire. So maybe more of a Sagittarius behavior of Jupiter is going to come into play than the Piscean behavior of Jupiter, and that is where I'm trying to throw that caution. Now, there will be tendency for you to spend your money as well. You might want to acquire something, or you might be looking forward to expand on certain areas. I see a definite trigger on your expenses during these 100 days. Please be watchful on your spending and see that whatever you are going for, and spending is not a bad thing, guys, but whatever you're going for is worthwhile. Um, any kind of speculative investments, if planned well, might actually be the right spending for you. So in your case, you can actually leverage that, and that it might be a good call. At the same time, I would not want, unlike the Cancerians and Geminis, I would not want you guys to be spending in to buy new assets or start any kind of remodeling work in your house and stuff. Please refrain from that. Jupiter right now has a debilitated aspect to your fourth house, and that rush in the new nakshatra may not be the wisest decision, because you might not get the bang on the buck, the ROI that you might desire for the investments you make, the spending you do rather. So investments are going to be better if it's in other areas, but not into your assets, not into your movable immovable assets. You might want to refrain from that for now. Just wait this period out, and I hopefully you will have much better period post November to plan on those lines. But yes, these are the broad things that I wanted you to remember. One last thing is, if you've not had a chance, go back and check the annual video which we released in April. It gives a lot of detailed insight as to how things are panning out for you for the course of the entire year. So this period, it's a sub period within that year, that annual period itself, and it'll give you a lot more understanding as to how you need to plan for the long term. And if it has made sense, you've liked the effort, guys, smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your appreciation. So, Scorpios, Jupiter is sitting in your seventh house. It is moving into Mrigashira. It is moving into the nakshatra of your Lagna Lord, which is Mars. Mars rules your first house as well as your sixth house. So you're going to be seeing aspects of these two houses also getting triggered in the next 100 days. First and foremost, guys, I've done a detailed discussion in the April video which I released for Jupiter transit in Taurus. Not had a chance, please go and check that out. It'll give you a lot of understanding as to how this entire transit is going to behave with Jupiter coming in Taurus. But now specifically, Jupiter is getting into a nakshatra which is ruled by Mars, and as we were talking about at the start of the video, depending on the dashas that we referred earlier and the attributes of this nakshatra that we discussed earlier in the intro, you have to be extremely careful in terms of how you are uh, tackling your frustrations, your energy with your business partners, at your business, with your spouse, with your married life. Very, very critical, guys. These 100 days is going to see a lot of action. On a positive side, there is going to be so much action that you and your spouse are going to be planning. I can already anticipate you guys like partnering together and taking a lot of new initiatives. See, this Jupiter is aspecting your 11th as well as your third. So very clearly you will be motivated. In fact, that lazy behavior that I was referring to in my older video, you're going to counter some of that in these 100 days. You are going to be action oriented in these 100 days and see that how you accomplish your goals. And a lot of times you will see your your life partner, your business partner actively supporting you on those fronts. So that's a good thing. The other bit is that I would want you guys to please pick up new initiatives. Again, you picking up new initiatives, going and expanding your social circle, meeting more and more people during this period, especially your friend circle. It is going to bring in so much of positive energy and it's going to culminate into some great positive outcomes. So do not shy away from doing that. I know Ketu is sitting there and has made you less social than what you are, Scorpios, but you are going to embark on a much more energetic social life, and it's very, very important because that is going to trigger some of the projects that you are going to undertake as well. I would want you, and I think a lot of you are going to bring in a lot of discipline in your day-to-day rigor as well, because your sixth house is going to get activated. If you are in job, you will see a lot more movement, lot more activities and projects that you might have to undertake. So pretty damn busy life is what I anticipate for you, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But on the riskier side, I would want you to please be careful from your health perspective as well. Some of you might be seeing that blood related issues, bone related issues that could bother you in terms of you not maintaining good food habits. That can be tricky, and I would want you to bring some focus and rigor in that area as well. Avoid taking loans during this period, not the best. But for you Scorpios, if you have the right placement of Mars in your natal chart, okay, which is your sixth lord as well, apart from being your Lagna lord, then it's an anomaly and I will not refrain you. But in general, I would not ideally want you to go and get new loans and stuff. Just wait the period out, let it slip by, because post those 100 days I think it's going to be much more different. Jupiter is going to traverse retrograde as well. It's going to go back into the previous nakshatra, so that's going to change a few things. But bring in discipline. That's going to be very, very important for you, and I think you will be embarking on that energy. You will personally be filled with a lot of energy during this period because Jupiter, well, it's aspecting your Lagna as well, so that burst of energy is definitely going to be there. Word of caution is your communication. Word of caution is your habits, food habits. Word of caution is decision making, guys. Energy is great. Moving fast is awesome, but the only risk is it brings triggers to make mistakes. I would want to also call out that for some of you, if you have your younger siblings, there could be some potential concern from their front as well. It could be health related concern or a financial concern. So you might have to just warn them, caution them, or ask them to watch this video and see what is their ascendant, and they can based on that understand that what and how they need to prepare for this period. So share this video to your siblings and request them to watch this. It's going to be important, Scorpios. And more importantly, if not had a chance, please go back and watch the detailed annual video that we did on the transit in April. You'll find it on my channel. I had given the link at the start of the video as well. It's going to help you plan for the entire year from a transit perspective. And if you've liked the effort, guys, please smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel. Looking forward to your support. Thank you. Now, Sagittarius, as you guys know, that Jupiter is coming and sitting in your sixth house. So from here, not just the house as well as the aspects it has, but also Mrigashira being Mars nakshatra, you will have trigger of your fifth house along with your 12th house. So very importantly, I see on a positive note you guys developing a lot of energy and daily regimen, the daily schedule that you're going to be following. You are going to hopefully bring a lot of discipline in these next 100 days, and that's going to be very important because it's going to align you well at your work front. It's going to bring a lot of opportunities, lot of work, lot of load shed of work actually is going to come your way if you are a working professional during this period, because 6th and 10th, both of your houses are going to get activated during this period, and they are going to get activated with a lot of energy. I see that's a positive thing, because it's better to have some action than a lull period, right? So from that angle, I see a lot of positivity coming in. Now I think that many of you who are pursuing some sort of education, or you have kids pursuing education, you will see some triggers in that. Like, there will have to be some additional focus that you will have to bring in. You will have to work harder, and you will have the right support. Like, students who are watching my video are in Sagittarius, you will see that somehow your concentration levels are going to improve. You are going to definitely see 10-20% improvement on those areas, and you are going to assimilate your lessons, your course much faster, or you might actually get a better outcome in those areas. People who are in romantic relationships, just be careful that your energy is not rubbing off wildly on your partner, and they do not feel a bit disturbed or ambiguous in how you are reacting to them, right? So you have to be a little bit careful on that front. But all in all, I think great surge of creative pursuits coming in from your end. You might be learning new tricks of the trade when it comes to the stock markets, investment, speculative businesses. You might bring in some energies there, but remember, Jupiter is also going to be triggering your 12th house, and Mars rules that as well. So I see expenses coming your way. I see some spending happening, and you better plan your spending carefully, because Jupiter has a debilitated aspect to your second house. And now it coming into Mrigashira Nakshatra means that your savings are going to either not increase at the same pace that they were moving earlier, or it is actually going to diminish for the next 100 days, because your spending might be on the rise. So you might want to see your personal chart. Please, I referred in the intro section of the video as well, where I talked about the dashas and what kind of people from a mahadasha and antardasha period are going to get impacted, and the lords in terms of Mars, Venus, Moon, Jupiter, that I referred at the start of the video. I think those people from a Sagittarius ascendant perspective will have a more impact. But as long as you are keeping your decision making in proper check, you are just reaffirming everything. Mars is going to make you rush. If you're just rechecking, taking a double down approach in each of those, I think you should be in a good space. And more importantly, please go ahead and check out the detailed Jupiter annual transit video that we did in April. You will find it on my channel itself in my videos. It's not long too back, and I think it's going to give you a lot of insights in terms of helping you plan for the year ahead. If you've liked this video, guys, smash on that like button and click on subscribe. Thank you. Now, Capricorns, as you know, that Jupiter is coming and sitting into your fifth house. And while it is in the fifth house in Taurus sign, and it has all these great aspects to your Lagna, to your 11th, and to your ninth house, we have to understand that it is moving into Mrigashira Nakshatra, which is ruled by Mars. We did touch upon the critical aspects that you have to keep in mind from your Mahadasha, Antardasha, and the attributes perspective in the intro section. But it is important for you to understand that I would want you to be very, very careful. Unlike some of the other signs during this 100 days period, Capricorn, no matter what you watch and where you go and whatever you hear, if you trust me, I would want you to please be very, very careful in terms of your stock market related investments during these 100 days. Please go back and recheck your portfolio and see that the planning that you're doing is in the right direction. I don't want you to rush on things. That's all I'm saying. I don't want you to rush with things. I want you to do a double check on every movement that you have in the next 100 days. Yes, I am seeing positive growth, but there is a potential risk as well, which is what I want you to counter, because in this channel we learn to rule our planets. So I want you to do that. Understand what your natal chart is saying, but in the transit perspective, be a little careful, because Jupiter is coming and sitting in here as well. Similarly, I would want you to caution on your romantic life and romantic relationships as well. Your aggression, if channelized well, is going to be great. Your partner, if you're a guy, the woman is really going to like you. But at the same time, if you go overboard and you do not understand, because Mrigashira could be tricky, it has impact of moon as well, and the moon has one bad reputation of that being a cheater, right? And I'm not saying Jupiter coming here is going to give you that tendency, but it makes you a player. It brings out that flirtatious energy as well. And for Capricorns, I would want ascendants, I would want you guys to be a little careful on that front, because it is going to trigger that for you for sure. Suddenly somebody I know of Capricorn Ascendant comes to my mind. I hope they are watching this and they are understanding the message I'm trying to give you, my friend. So, so please be careful of those sort of energies. If you're a student watching this, you might want to be, you might see that there is a renewed energy coming in you, which will help you in terms of putting in a lot of focus energy towards your studies. And I think it's going to bear some good positive fruitful results. If you are anticipating any kind of appearance into your competitive examinations and stuff during this period, especially in the month of September, early part of September and stuff, you are going to see good success coming in your way. Okay, in the initial part, I see very positive element, because Mars is also going to be transiting into your sixth house, right? So that is also going to be critical. Now, this Jupiter is going to give you a debilitated aspect to your Lagna, and it is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, and that is where I'm getting hyper focused for you to be careful in terms of doing a double check. And guys, let's not just be focused towards stock market, because definitely I see that one impact for you guys from your financial strategies, not just stock market, from your financial strategies perspective, but in general, overall, in any aspect of your life for these 100 days, I would want you to uh, would want you to cover all your bases, see that all your four corners are taken care of before you take any call, uh, because there is a potential loss, and if not loss, a reduction in ROI to what you could have otherwise achieved. If you could have otherwise achieved 100, you might just land on 80 or 90. That's the risk I'm trying to cut off. Okay, so I hope that makes sense as to what I'm calling out. Be aligned with your bosses. Any recommendation coming in from your father is going to be good for you during this period. Be aligned to your leaders, spiritual leaders, or otherwise at work front. And if you've not had a chance, please go back and watch the detailed video that we've done in April, where we've given an annual analysis of Jupiter during this period. So it's going to give you a lot more perspective outside of what's going to be happening within just this specific transit. Okay, and if you've liked this video, please smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support, guys. Now, as Aquarius, you see that Jupiter is coming and setting in your fourth house, and it is, it's of course in the sign of Taurus. We've done a detailed video on the same in April, where we've given an annual perspective as to what's going to be happening. If you've not got a chance, go back after this video. I've given the link at the start of the video as well, but if you've not had a chance, just go back and see the channel page and you will find that video. It was released in April. So just about 3-4 months back, you'll just scroll it and find Jupiter's transit into Taurus. But now it is moving into the Mrigashira Nakshatra within the Taurus sign itself. It's going to be getting retrograde after these 100 days. But during these, during this 100-day period, I see many of you picking up reconstruction, buying of new land, property, some sort of asset, maybe acquisition of a car or something, some sort of a vehicle might be of interest to you. So I see a lot of you taking measures in that direction. But at the same time, I would want you to practice caution, because Jupiter in this nakshatra is going to try and move fast. All your objectives will be sort of rushed. And Mars also rules your third and as well as your 10th house. So your decision making at your work front, or you driving rashly on the road, or you spending money on a construction call without doing your due diligence, could actually result in certain losses. So just want you to be careful a bit on that front. But apart from that, I think if you're planning well, Aquarius, if you've got your bases covered, I think you're going to be making you're going to be making expenses to expand on your assets. You are going to build something. Of course, Jupiter has an aspect to your 12th house, so spending is going to be there. It's a debilitated aspect. But I think in your case, Aquarius, many of you are going to see action on this front. Then I also see that there will be trigger from a work perspective. I think there is going to be a lot more busy days that you're going to have. You will have a surge at your work front in terms of opportunities coming your way, workload coming your way. And I think that might just create certain avenues of you potentially making some mistakes. But that's a word of caution that I want you to keep in mind. It doesn't mean that it's going to hurt you bad, because you are going to be extremely energized, focused in terms of delivering what is expected out of you. It's just that you might want to be foolproof, right? You don't want to be making mistakes in this entire commotion that you're going to see in the next few days coming your way. You have to be a little bit careful, or I should say strategic, in finding some me time. It's important, Aquarius, that during these 100 days you find some time of isolation, because of all the action that you are seeing in all corners of your life. It is important for you to give some perspective and reflect back on your actions in these 100 days. You are going to see a pretty busy period. So it's important that you sit back and reflect and assimilate if all the efforts that you're making, are they going in the right direction or not? Are they giving you the right return on your time investment? If not, you need to actionize and channelize your energies properly. So that's an advice. Remember, we keep talking that we have to learn to rule our planets. You have to think and figure out in that direction as to how you can make the best use of your time to get that outcome at your work front, as well as impact the assets, your growth. Spend time, quality time with your mother. Be careful with respect to her health, especially if your mom has any kind of blood or bone related issues. That's one area of caution I would want you to take a note of. And I think whilst Jupiter is coming there, it should help them heal as well. But you might want to bring that focus in terms of calling it out. If you're living far away from her, just share this video with her and ask her to watch it. Maybe she can look her respective Lagna chart and see that what is making sense to her. And that ways you will help grow Dev Astrology as a channel as well. Thank you guys for watching. One last thing, if you've not had a chance, go back and check the Jupiter detailed video for the entire annual analysis of this annual transit into Taurus. It was released about 3-4 months back, and it has a lot more details about your zodiac, and you are going to gain a lot more out of it. Thank you for watching, guys. Please subscribe. Thank you. Now, Pisces, as you know, that Jupiter is coming and sitting in your third house, right? Now, we've done a detailed video about this transit of Jupiter into the Taurus sign in your third house about 3-4 months back. In April, I released that video and you guys gave a lot of love. If you do not remember or have not had a chance, please go back and visit it, because it'll refresh your memory and it's going to give you a lot of insights. But today we're going to talk about these 100 days when Jupiter is into the Mrigashira Nakshatra. We've in the intro section of this video already talked about that what are the attributes of the nakshatra, how it's going to trigger in terms of the Martian qualities, moon's qualities, the Mahadasha and the Antardasha aspects that you have to keep in mind as well, that are going to be impacting if you are going through those specific dasha periods. But more importantly, you have to understand that now your second house, which is ruled by Mars, as well as your ninth house, is also going to get activated because of this movement and transit of Jupiter into Mrigashira. So what does it mean? It means that, see, Jupiter is coming in, sitting in a difficult house. Third house is not an easy house to sit. It requires a lot of hard work, energy, and now Jupiter is going to get the catalyst of Mrigashira, of Mars. So you are going to see that your communication, especially your formal communication, your relationship with your siblings, either you're going to fight them, and friendly fights, okay, not serious ones, but good friendly fights would increase. Some sort of hobby development is going to come into play. In fact, this is the best period, guys. These 100 days are the best period for you guys to pick up any hobbies, start something new, and it's going to stick with you in the long run. It's going to make you a very different, evolved person. Anything, especially if you pick up habits like reading, start reading any books, or if you want to enable in terms of acquiring new knowledge through digital means or through social media like this YouTube and stuff. It's going to help you grow and evolve, and it's going to have a positive impact on you. Your relationship with your siblings is going to be good during this period. I see many of you planning to take short distance travels. In fact, some of you from your work perspective as well, Jupiter is ruling your 10th house as well. A lot of you might see action in terms of short term travel getting sporadic travels coming into play, out of your control. So that's definitely going to be happening in these 100 days. But it's also worth noting that you will be very very driven in terms of expanding on your savings. You might on a negative side develop some negative food habits, fast food related habits, which might come into play. Please keep a check on that. I know you are uh, more of sattvic people, Pisces, so generally you keep good monitor on that. But here I see a trigger coming in your life on that front. But at the same time, I would want you to think that all this Martian energy which is now going to come in you, it should not impact your relationship with your spouse or with your business partners or your business overall negatively. See, I see, anticipate an energy there. There's a good positive energy with you trying to do more or accomplish more for your spouse or with your spouse or with your business partners, right? So that mindset is going to be there. But the way you express yourself, the way you come across to them, it is important for them to be on the same page with you. They need to understand where is this drive coming in you. So they should be receptive. And hopefully if they are from a different lagna, you might want to check out their ascendant sign as well and figure out that how it can pan out for you. Okay, so that is also an important thing to note from that perspective. Maybe I should have called it out for everyone, but yeah, you might want to think from that angle as well. But from your spouse's perspective, just be a lot more open, caring, loving, and not be blunt Martian in your communication, because that's going to be tricky. But I see that particular aspect coming into play. I will not be surprised if you take some long distance travel to go on a pilgrimage during these 100 days, or a long distance holiday as well for some of you is on the charts. But definitely, most definitely, short term getaways, lot of short distance travels from a business perspective is on the charts. You might be inclined to take up new projects, but I would not want you to urge I would urge you to not go for new engagements unless and until you are absolutely sure about stretching out for them for the entire course of time, right? Like you are absolutely sure that you are going to bring it to closure, because there could be one tendency with all this energy. You might want to start on new things, but you might not be able to bring them to fruition or bring them to closure. And that's the risk that I anticipate during this period for you, Pisces. If you've not had a chance, please go back and refer to the detailed video that we did in April, Jupiter transit into Taurus. You would definitely love that video as well. And if you've liked this video and stayed thus far, please smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel. I see that the conversions from viewers to subscribers is way too less, so I really need your support and motivation on that front. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time, and keep connected to Dev Astrology. Have a good one. Bye bye.